Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's edition of RE321, where I take old stories up narrated and updated into modern audio standards. This particular story is called Expecting Humans, written by Kuma9. Encyclopedia Galactica, translated to human English. Accepting Humans. Accept humans and E redirect here. For human exceptionalism, the philosophical belief in humans as a uniquely significant to the universe, see anthropocentrism. Accepting humans is a qualifying phrase used to indicate that a statement is only true in the absence of humans, or that humans themselves are an exception to the statement. The phrase was first coined by high technocrat Pon Borak in 3640 SGC, and quickly embedded itself within the galactic standard language. Accepting humans is often shortened to a specific symbol, such as E for brevity. All species in the Galactic Fellowship adopted the same variation of accepting humans into their communication by 3642 SGC, and it continues to see usage in current media. Origin. The phrase accepting humans is credited to high technocrat Pon Borak of the Unified Turgi in the course of his work on system of predictive psychology of all species of the Galactic Fellowship. Borak had undertaken the project to be the grand opus of his reign as High Technocrat. Borak spent 45 cycles compiling the psychological and sociological profiles of his own Turgi and the other 98 member species of the Galactic Fellowship. These profiles were fed into a specialized AI that could then predict future behaviors for a given scenario. Preliminary testing of the resulting algorithms showed promise, scoring an average of 52% accuracy in predicting individual behavior, 92% accuracy regarding developments of a species' culture, and 76% accuracy in predicting changes in galactic relations. Having more comprehensive data regarding the scenario would improve the results even further in actual practice. The project was interrupted by the introduction of humans as the 100th member of the species of the Galactic Fellowship in 3536 SGC, a little less than a cycle before the planned publication of the project. However, Borak was confident that he would need no more than an extra cycle to incorporate the humans into his predictive algorithms. This would prove to be overly optimistic, and Borak would delay the publication of his project an additional 7 times before publishing his report in 3640 SGC. During those cycles, Borak found his algorithms plummeting in accuracy whenever a single human was involved in events. Attempts to rectify the issue, including using human-supplied psychological profiles, having other species submit independent estimates of human behavior, and a complete rebuild of the algorithm AI. Even so, the highest accuracy the algorithm could deliver was 7% accurate prediction when humans were present in a scenario. Borak considered extending the project again, but could not, under a heavy political pressure, to deliver his grand opus before the onset of advanced age. Borak reluctantly published the findings of his project, which remains a scientific touchstone in outlining the possibilities of limits of predictive modeling. While the scientific community discussed the project's findings and future avenues of research, the report became famous to the general public for the rather unique first annotation presented by the paper. After a title is chosen for the grand opus of a high technocrat, they may not be altered. This rule left Borak unable to amend his project to exclude humans, as they were a species of the Galactic Fellowship at the time of publication. This meant that due to high standards of clarity needed in liturgy scientific writing, nearly every single bit of data would need to include a direct clarification that humans were omitted from the proceedings. The result became known as Annotation 1 or Annotation E. 1. Accepting the human species from consideration. In the interest of concision and readability, this annotation will be repeated above all relevant statements that require the specification. Annotation 1 appears a total of 3,177 times in the original report, and helped foster the perception of humans as a mysterious and volatile species as they began to establish themselves in the Galactic Fellowship. Humans were largely pleased with this reputation, and as the term exceptional often carries connotations of superiority. Despite praise from the scientific community, Borak considered his grand opus a failure, as the spread of humans throughout the galaxy meant that his system would never see practical use. Vorak would later become the second high technocrat to refuse to step down from his position after reaching advanced age. Vorak's bitterness towards humans and deteriorating mental health would lead directly to the declaration of war against humanity over the colony of Yitis Rev in 3659 SGC. Vorak even claimed to have secretly perfected his predicted algorithms over the previous cycles and claimed that the United Turgi held a 97% chance of total victory. While the proclamation raised the morale of his subjects, it was almost certainly either propaganda or one of Vorak's frequent delusions. Support by the Turgi populace for the conflict quickly diminished as the unmatched soldiery of the United Turgi suffered extreme casualties in the skirmishes with the United Federation of Nations Stellar Navy. One cycle after declaring hostilities, Vorak would become the third high technocrat to be deposed while still holding office. Famously, a minor clause included in the terms of the peace treaty required the armed forces of the Turgi to be renamed the Unmatched, Except Humanity, Soldiery of the United Turgi. Theories. Even with contributions by human psychologists and sociologists, the ability for humans to defy all predictive behavior models remains a serious obstacle to the field of study. Humans also continue to find themselves at the center of the majority of cultural and technological innovations since their inclusion in the Galactic Fellowship. While the exceptional nature of humans remains a staple of folk wisdom, experts from a wide range of disciplines have attempted to offer theories on why the trend exists. As what exactly identifies humans as exceptional tends to be subjective, nearly every species has its own interpretation of how humans continue to surprise or subvert expectations. The most current and well-developed theory regarding E is put forward by xenopsychologist Dies Without Wonder, having lived among humans for 17 cycles. Dies Without Wonder concluded that the key to E lied within human patterns of socialization rather than in any inherent mystery of the human mind. Humans exist on a standard deviation bell curve, the same as any other species. In terms of temperament, they are actually very close to the galactic mean on a great many personality indexes. However, where individuals of most species attempt to move towards the happy medium of whatever social group they are a part of, humans will embrace whatever makes them stand out from the masses around them. They even have a counterculture for those whose identity revolves around opposing mainstream cultural norms. Humans make shifts in their behavior and self-image constantly as they move between social groups. I believe that humans will always be exceptional, as that's just how they want to be. Part of our fellowship, but distinguished within it. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.